and see what they've got.
All right, well, first map will be Hollywood, so we can kind of talk about the map and maybe what we expect to see here, Stir. Dive comp, it's pretty much on everyone's mind, and we're probably going to be seeing it here from both teams, I would assume.
I'm not so sure about that. The teams really, again, haven't had entirely that much time to practice yet because they've been keeping under wraps. They didn't even want to really do scrims because they were worried that even with other named accounts, people would be able to figure out who it was based on, who was playing, who goes offline exactly when this mysterious team is scrimming. So I think Team USA has been a little bit more comfortable lately with a triple tank setup, even though the meta has shifted very dive. Of course, Sinatra is a big part of that, as he can either play a really good Tracer or Zarya on the team. And it sort of comes down to whether or not lately Sinatra's been playing Zarya or Tracer, how tank heavy the team wants to go.
And I think for Sinatra's case in particular, people wanted to see if he could flex out of a Tracer role, maybe play something a little bit different. His Zarya has definitely been top-notch. In the tryouts alone, I could think of a particular point when they were playing on King's Row. I'm not going to say who they're playing against at the time, where he built up 2 Graviton Surges before 1 Nano Boost was even built up by the enemy Ana. So this man is a beast, and they actually have invested a lot into him too. If they run an Ana, there's some typical times they will throw a Nano Boost onto him just to get a Graviton Surge a little bit quicker.
Of course, I don't want to leave Team Canada complete out of this. Can you tell me how you feel about the Canada roster here?
I think it'd be very strong, actually. I mean, Surefour, he's shown he's a very fluid player in anything he needs to. His Pharah has been top-notch. I would say, and be comfortable in saying, besides Tailspin, who has taken a step back, he's the best Pharah in the Western world, in the United States, like hands down. And maybe we'll see a little bit of that if we do get onto some control, maybe onto some Lijiang Tower. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off our first map here in the show match. It looks like it will be Canada up against the USA. Canada on the attack, and USA on the defense.
Yeah, here we're kicking it off again. Really excited to see as well how Agilities performs here. He's really come out in front as one of the best Genji players in the game. And you've got Surefour and Agilities on the same team together who are absolutely dominant DPS players. And they're going to try and attack here for the first time.
Yeah, so it looks like both teams going to be going for that 2-2 composition, which means if you're running that Soldier, which the US will be doing, they want to go for some poke damage, get some early chip in, and then translate those into some kills. But so far, hasn't even been close here. Actually, Surefour's going to be finally able to respawn, pick himself up 2 kills, but the US look like they will hold strong here on that initial attack. Build up his ultimates a little bit quicker. Now, Stir, for people who might not know necessarily a lot about competitive Overwatch, can you kind of explain to us, when you're on the defending side, how important it is to win that first fight?
Oh, it can snowball out of control really quickly. You lose the first point, and usually losing a fight means that the other team's going to have ult advantages because they did more damage than you, they stay alive, they do more healing than you, and it just kind of spirals out of control there, and you lose map control. So being able to hold that first point is really good there, and right now we have Agilities dashing in, the Winstons jumping on top of each other.
Now trying to go for both supports here, but Jake already takes down Agilities, which gives them the man advantage and the damage advantage of Sinatra. Just going to be seen on point. He has that post bomb ready to go. He's looking to actually throw that onto XQC, but instead just going to say this one. No need to invest ultimates when you know you're going to be holding the point for now, but Surefour does chime back, takes down Factor Fiction, and Sinatra, 26 HP, has been forced out of this fight so far.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to clear that point with that D.Va ultimate, stand back, and still play really safe. They are just, waiting for them to dive in, and I think they're picking out the right targets. They're calling the right shots and taking them down as they need to. And
let's take a look at Agilities really quickly. You talked about him, being one of the really shining lights for Genji players. At the moment, he's been shut down so hard because he's only at 58% on his ultimate. And that Dragon Blade, considering there's going to be no Zenyatta on the side of the USA, means he can completely open up his entire first point.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been having a hard time getting in. They have a lot of counters to him. Pops out the Zenyatta ultimate. Looks like they're going to be running onto the point here. This may be their chance to finally be able to take the point. No deaths on either team yet. Agility's going into the back line to find the first kill here, finally taking him down. And it looks like Team USA is starting to crumble.
Oh, Factor Fiction, that's going to be Nano Boost, and he's just swinging away with those giant ape arms, able to actually pick up quite a few kills and a lot of damage. But the thing is, Canada's actually not capturing the point here. Finally, there's going to be a person contesting it, but in the meantime, they're trying to use this Dragon Blade. Agility's trying to look for some kills, but he gets shut down so far, unable to secure a single one. But still, the fight's going to continue. The first checkpoint has been accumulated here for Canada. And Coolmat, well, while being desuited, he's trying to get that resuit back up. And Agilities, you can see to the left-hand side, is just waiting to die here, realizing, yeah, we're probably not taking this point. I need to either get out or just let this one go.
Yeah, it looks like Agilities even did use the Dragon Blade that took so long to build in that fight. And it's really just, it seems like Team Canada is a little bit split. You could see how far in the back Agilities actually was to go chase that kill, and he had people coming with him, coming after him. It wasn't really focused on the point that they, of course, weren't able to capture. Pretty important. You need that limousine for the win.
You do. You definitely do here. And they do have, still have quite a few ultimates to use. I mean, that self-destruct out of Mangachu, if he can just throw that one in a good position, he could catch on to quite a few kills. But again, looks like they want to focus on to Coolmat, maybe get that D-suit off so they can allow some people to get in some extra damage. Pulse Bomb has come through. And then self-destruct out of Mangachu Not gonna pick up a single kill, but XQC is trying to go for the chase on a Factor Fix. She's eventually gonna fall here with agilities and him finally chiming in together to pick up that kill, but Sinatra, he's not been dealt with on the point here. He gets the decent on Amangashu, and he's finally being focused down here, but with Coolmat still to his side, they're able to hold on to this point for now.
Man, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think Sinatra's had a death this game. He feels like he's always just out of range of every single person on Team Canada. Just, you know, in the corner of their eye, you can't quite see him, always dealing an incredible amount of damage here.
I think Sinatra has a third eye, actually, because he realizes when the enemy team is focusing him down. He realizes when the attention is towards him, and he backs out. He makes sure he does not die and just stays alive to be that constant nuisance that Tracer can be. But we're running out of time here. Canada have to make something happen. That's where the sound barrier popped off, but at the moment, it only catches on to 2 people. Rose's about to fall here, but the Transcendence will keep him alive. They have a chance to pull this one off here, but Coolmat will get a decent self-destruct. The Nano Boost has come in on towards Jake, but he's just been immediately forced to retreat, but he gets the kill on agilities with the Attack Visor. A great initial kill coming through, and the point, it hasn't been captured, but now the overtime is breaking down.
Yeah, this isn't looking really good right now. Jake up top trying to lay down a little bit of fire, though it doesn't look like they're able to get out of this cafe right now. Explosions going off, and really trying to get the point back in this last couple of seconds. Overtime ticking down.
Yeah, Coolmat, he got the D-suit though, most importantly than Amangashu, which allows Jake to get a lot of free damage off, but we're gonna see 2 kills come through now. Team USA trying to stall for as long as they possibly can, and Canada just falling by the wayside with only a few people remaining. I'm not sure if they even have a chance here to capture this one, as Factor Fix is just trying to sit into the back lane. He's trying to stick to Rolf here, just trying to force him out of the fight, and now Agility is forced to switch over to Tracer, is trying to focus down onto Rockets, but he's not able to do that, and Canada, unfortunately, will not be able to capture that first point. And only get 71% built up on the board.
Yeah, someone leaving the point. It looks like they could have contested it, but that's one of those really awkward fights where it's just you're all desperately hoping something goes in your favor, and it unfortunately didn't. It's not a good start for Team Canada here, though.
I can see Twitch chat right now spamming one letter, one number, Cloud9, C9, because of that actually not sticking to the point. But let's be honest, I don't think there was a chance they're actually going to capture that because they lost out on too many people. But now going to the attacking side, USA. Any stand-up players for you there that you saw?
Again, Sinatra, I think, just played it really well. He was positioning really well on Tracer. He was everywhere he needed to be, dealing the damage. He wasn't going down, so you have that consistent. As soon as one of your DPS players goes down, that's a huge problem. You're losing out on all that damage, and you start to become a little bit more overrun. Team Canada, I mean, they really just didn't seem like they were working together as well as Team USA was right there. My boys! My boys. But I don't know, they all of Team USA played well because as a team, they seemed to make it easier for each other.
All right, well, if you are just joining us there on stream, we are at the Twitch Esports Arena presented by T-Mobile as we're watching the show match between USA and Canada. The World Cup teams representing their regions to go head-to-head in the Overwatch World Cup, which will be kicking off actually just a few weeks' time, if I'm not mistaken. Dates haven't been released, but we know it's coming up soon, and it's going to be crazy to see what regions do make it out to be representing themselves at BlizzCon.
Yeah, the USA national team and Team Canada actually aren't in the same group, so this is a nice show match here because otherwise they wouldn't be playing unless they both made it all the way out of their groups and were able to fight then. So this is a nice little preview to what will be happening with the Overwatch World Cup as it unfolds in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared actually for the Canadian national Overwatch team because they're potentially going to have to play against South Korea. And I don't think any team out there wants to play against them when they're the reigning champions from last year alone.
South Korea is very scary. Of course, they did win last year, and just in general, Korea, always scary. But I want to see how USA is going to take this point here. Going in strong, there's Sinatra on that Zarya, getting in there, trying to build up charge as quickly as he can, but they're leading forward with Factor Fiction on the Reinhardt, swinging his hammer, trying to make a little bit of room. And it looks like they've already pushed Canada back quite a bit. They're waiting to dive. There goes the Winston, but his team has not followed up with them.
I mean, USA, they're looking for the combo, they're looking for the Graviton Surge and that Dragon Strike, but that initial kill on a Surefour already, it gives them the man advantage. They even get a D-suit here, most important than Amangashu, who's eventually going to fall here. And USA, it looks like on the first attack, they're going to be successful. Look at Sinatra, we talked about him earlier on the Zarya, 86 energy, already 50% on his Graviton Surge. Even if they do lose this fight, they still have a chance to come back and hit him with a combo, and Drake has that Dragon Strike ready to go. They're gonna pop it off directly through the cafe, and with kills coming in left and right, I don't know if Canada have a chance to even get this one back. That's gonna be Joe Wester and XQC going down. The respawn out of Megachu's gonna be there, but they only need about 30% to close this one out here, sir.
Yeah, that Hanzo DPS going uncontested there a little bit too much, and again, I think it goes back to Canada not playing quite well enough together at the moment. You see XQC jump in, but there was no follow-up. He's trying to save the Torbjorn that was off on his own. And there you have it. For the first of 4 matches, Team USA is the victor.
Yeah, they're looking pretty happy on their faces as well. Sinatra there, he's been very confident in his gameplay so far. And you know, the win condition, we always kind of talk about that for teams. What's their win condition in a match and in an individual fight. And we had the Graviton Surge with the Dragon Strike, the Hanzo, and the Zarya combo. But Jake, I mean, he opened up the initial fight with a headshot over on a Surefour, just completely eliminate him and give him the man advantage they needed. They took away the high ground, and it's like, well, what do you do if you're Canada there, right?
Yeah. It's pretty hard to lose that as USA. If you know you're going in, you only have to capture the first point. All you have to do is build up all 6 ultimates, use them properly all at once, especially when you have Hanzo and Zarya. It would be pretty hard for them to lose that. But what do you think Canada's going to have to do to win the next match?
Maybe change things up a little bit. I mean, you kind of pointed out perfectly. XQC kind of jumping in, not having him and agility is really working well together, as well as Mangachu. Like, if you're running the 2-2-2 comp, and if you guys are unfamiliar with how kind of like the competitive echelons work with 2-2-2, you need the D.Va and the Winston to really pair well together. You need that defense matrix out of D.Va to allow Winston to jump in and not take too much damage. Then you have agilities there on the Genji to follow up, and then maybe even the Tracer or the Soldier, depending which one you use to actually solidify those kills. But, you know, credit to Adam and Raucus to play well together. They kept each other alive so many times, and we heard Kai talking about Adam and how he's actually changed. I remember talking to him after OGN when they were playing at Apex. He had to change up his play style a little bit. And within Cloud9, they changed him to be more of like a macro player. He's the guy in the team for Cloud9 and here for the USA to monitor ultimates, to always know when they're up. And that helps so much when Genji is such a prevalent hero being played right now. You need to be able to counter those Dragon Strikes because that can completely wipe your team.
Spectating the tryout games that we had for Team USA was really cool because you could hear Adam every single time calling what the ultimates were, and you look up and you're like, he's dead on.
That's actually really creepy.
Yeah. I think the only time he was wrong was when someone else insisted that somebody had an ult and he just believed them. So, I mean, he's been doing really good. He was on the USA team last year. I had a chance to play with him. And I think even he learned a lot from last year, that he's communicating a little bit more forwardly, knowing exactly what he needs to do and, you know, doing a great job. He was, you know, a standout Lucio for this team.
Yep, and he's actually a very calm voice within the team. And I think him and Raucus balance each other out really well. We were able to hear the comms when they were, you know, screaming against each other. And Raucus can be very loud at times. He can be very loud for his team, which is always a good thing, right? If you have momentum going, you get the hype going, you want to be energetic. But Adam can always be that, you know, that older man. He's turning 29 in October, if I'm not mistaken.
I have to get him a present. I wasn't ready. Now okay. Well, can you tell us a little bit about what we have to look forward to for Team USA going on over into the World Cup? What teams are they going to be playing if not Canada?
Yeah, so they're actually in Group G. We've got USA, we've got Chinese Taipei, we've got Brazil, and New Zealand. Chinese Taipei last year actually had a fairly good showing. I think Zonda, an ex-League of Legends player, a pro player, switching over to Overwatch, they had some actual surprising results against quite a few teams and were considered a really strong team. I think they're going to be one of the teams to beat coming into this for the US. We had Brazil as well. I think it was White Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the color they were. When they were playing with pretty much a core team. And they actually learned a lot. I think their goal going into the World Cup last year when we talked to them was just learn. Just try to improve our own gameplay, bring that back to Brazil and see if we can elevate kind of success. But then that's just that group, right? That's just Group G. Then we have Group H as well, which has United Kingdom, has Germany, Israel, and Belgium. So the way the seeding works, if you come in first out of your group, you play the second seed from the other group. And then the winner of that match will be through to BlizzCon, to the actual Overwatch World Cup.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Brazil play. I think they're one of the more underlooked teams in a lot of competitive FPSs. They always have really strong players, and I don't think Brazil has had a proper showing yet. So.
And then not to mention United Kingdom, they have a lot of strong players. Boombox, who is if you guys haven't heard of him, he kind of came out of nowhere playing for Cyclones, then Cyclowns. And he's one of the best Zenyatas we've seen in Europe, back where they cast him at the TakeOver tournament just last weekend, where he hits the right clicks from downtown and honestly cannot be stopped. They have Cruz as well, a big player, big Genji player from United. They have a lot of potential in the UK. And then Germany didn't really have a great run last year.
Yeah, they had a pretty good team.
There. Yeah,
they had a good team for how bad of a run they had. It was a little bit weird that they weren't able to pull together. But this year, of course, is a little bit different than last year's World Cup. We're picking committee members like us who were then able to pick the teams. So it's a little bit more cohesive teams for every region where we're able to pick people that really work well together and weren't just, you know, picked off of a list by, you know, popular order, whatever. So I think any team can really come out here and surprise the world with the talent that they have within each region.
And not to mention, we have you know, quite a few other regions too are participating in this with France. I think that's one of the regions we've been looking at as being one of the powerhouse teams with Rogue, an all-French team. Not sure, actually, I heard every committee member tell me they're putting Rogue into the Overwatch World Cup, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be locked in. But that is a team that's been very scary. Yeah, they didn't make it through into the playoffs at Apex and OGN, but they're still a hell of a scary team.
Yeah, I mean, talking about how important team cohesion is, if France actually, you know, does put all of Rogue on one team as they're all French players, that's immediately, they've already been practicing together. We haven't had Team USA able to really sit down and have true practice, but they've been at it for months now.
Yeah, and not to mention now with them finally being released, finally knowing who's on the team, they can start to scrim some other teams in there. And yeah, it's very true. Rogue, when you're a team already and you're playing together, every scrim you do for a tournament is practice for yourself for the Overwatch World Cup. Yeah. But now, we're moving on to our next map here. It's going to be Dorado here. So we haven't seen this actually in a bit of time in competitive tournaments. So the Takeover tournament, that was actually a map that was banned out for that tournament.
Really?
Love the map, though. It's going to be our escort map for the situation. What's your thoughts in general?
Dorado, I think a lot of players have gotten really scared of lately because it's very difficult to take the first point, and you can either get completely stalemated there or push through, and that's a huge point for Dorado, is whether or not you make it through that. And it's just, I guess it's daunting getting into that first point and making sure you can actually do it.
Well, so we got to talk to both teams before we did start today, and the US did say they are actually going to have a little bit of fun with this one. So do you think we're going to see any crazy picks? Maybe some Orisa in there, maybe some Orisa Torbjorn, maybe some Mei?
There was a throwdown between two players on each team that they wanted to play some Bastion v Bastion, no turret mode. I don't know if they're actually going to do it. I tried to talk them out of it. I said this is a good time to practice. We haven't had practice yet, trying to stay serious about it, but they really want to show who the better Bastion is. So I don't know if that'll actually come out today. That'd be a little bit interesting to see. Maybe Dorado will be that map where we get it.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, both teams don't really want to show anything secretive they might have, right? You don't want to show your cards a little bit too early, especially with it's on the line. I mean, it's just 2 teams out of each qualifier that actually make it through into Overwatch World Cup. That's rough. You obviously want to be one of the 8.
Well, I mean, no matter how many secrets you try and keep, no one's going to know how you play on Lunar Colony or all the changes coming out. We have Roadhog changes on the horizon. A lot of stuff, of course, going to change by the time Overwatch World Cup really comes around for the grand finals for whatever teams do make it there. So, I mean, that too, we could even say, was really hard to plan ahead and say what players are going to stay powerful through any meta changes that might happen.
And that's something I remember actually last year Siegel talked about, I think in an interview, saying he looked ahead at what potential changes will be coming into the game, and then tried to actually pick like their last 2 players, because you obviously could if you were the captain last year, who would be strong coming into that. And with what BlizzCon November, right? Who knows what's going to be played popular then? Hopefully something that South Korea cannot play, so other regions might have a chance. Though I think with actual committees choosing teams this time, I think a lot more teams will have that chance.
The way things have been trending, we've got a really good Mercy player on the team, so our SR is going to be through the roof.
You tilted me already just by thinking about that. Yeah, we will be heading to Dorado in just a few seconds, guys. Then Kings Row after that, then Lijiang Tower. We're going to be playing all 4 maps, so everyone get an idea of what's going on. Seeing Rocks there, not Rocks, sorry, Fact Fiction, the slight smile. Definitely happy to be on the team. I remember actually him and Raucus, when we told them they're on the team, you could hear from the other person's microphone them shouting because they were so excited to finally be participating and to finally be selected for this.
I don't think I was there at that moment. That's too stressful. It really dawned on me that choosing a team meant not choosing some really great players towards the end, and it was pretty unfortunate that some of the people had to go that may have been selected for the team, because we tried out probably more than 25 people for Team USA, and they were all phenomenal.
Well, I mean, the pressure that was on us to choose people is now on them, right? They're the ones that have to perform when the time does come. And so far with that first map under their belts looking...
Yeah, I mean, we're irrelevant now. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. It's all on them.
Ready? I see Reddit right now, and I can tell from my Twitter what's going to be going on. People asking, why is Siegel not there? Why is Tim the Tatman not there? Why is Subman not there? Why is Lyric not there?
Come on, man. We could have had the Super Stream meme team.
We could have, but I don't know how far they would have gotten. Though Tim, I know he's working at it. But Dorado, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to keep you waiting. Looks like the US of A will be on the attack and Canada on the defense. We've already seen an Orisa. And you talked about Bastion. So it's Surefour the guy you were talking about, butting heads with, wanting to go that Bastion v Bastion.
Can't remember who it was. I know Jake was down for some Bastion action. Oh man, and he's on it. There it is. Got to be Surefour on the Bastion. I think we might see a little bit of shenanigans here. I want some games minus the Bastion, but they're looking to make it work. I mean, if you bring Orisa in there, that's actually a great combo with the Bastion. She has the shields that she can place down so frequently now that they're actually quite hard to break. It even feels more consistent than having a Reinhardt shield, which gets shredded so quickly, to be able to constantly play shield after shield after shield down. So we'll see if they can make that work. I'm actually excited here to see who can bring the Bastion to the forefront. Though I think they agreed no turret mode. I don't know what the Bastion BM
What's the rules, right?
Yeah, what rules are we playing by right now?
I'm hoping to see a little bit of Protect the VIP. If you guys don't know what that is, it's when you have like a Bastion on the payload, then you have the Reinhardt to protect him, a D.Va to protect him, and you just let him do his thing. Or actually, isn't Bastion female robot? I don't know. I would assume Bastion's gender.
I don't know. Surefour already switched. I think he's backing down. If Jake backs down, USA has no backbone.
Well, we'll see. 4 minutes, or actually a couple seconds before we do kick this one off. Not only is he going to have unlimited days, he's going to have unlimited bullets when he does transition to that form, if he does stick to it. We'll find out here in just a few seconds as the USA going to be on attack, and it looks like he's committing to it. All right, so a little bit of Bastion here. Is that going to be him calling out Surefour? I feel like it is.
I mean, especially if they win this. I mean, more is now on the line than national pride. Bastion is on the line, and that is not something you ever want to, you know, shy away from. Looks like we got them up on the roof. Winston coming down on the cart, dropping the bubble, trying to delay it as soon as they can, jumping away again to safety so he can get healed back up and stall the cart out so that they can get as much time here as possible. Jake, proud of him. Really committed.
That's what we like to see out of USA players here. That's why we chose him. We can see Mangochu a little bit deep here. Actually might be desuited, which they're going to need to mitigate the damage off of Bastion, but Surefour is going to be chipping away quite a bit here. You can see Mangochu eventually go down. So they've lost one of their strong frontline tanks. They're going to need to hold on to this position, but the thing is, the payload is just not really moving. They're keeping it contested. You can see XQC on the low ground going to be saving his jump pack, well, to get away or to be aggressive, maybe want some blood against Fact Fiction because they're already down to 100 HP. But Jake, there we go. That's the initial kill coming through, and that's a nanovisor. He popped up for Surefour.
Oh, and he is just butchering them, finding every last person to kill. And that's a little bit of the problem here with Bastion, is you can't react to things like that. You can't sprint around. They're having a hard time taking the roof because they don't actually have players that can get up there. Like normally you would want a Genji to get up there and disrupt it, make them a little bit scared so they have to walk back. But they're just completely dominant on this high ground.
Glad to see Canada as well kind of fix a problem that we've seen a lot of teams have in the competitive circuit of popping like a visor or a nanovisor when there's still a diva in mech on the other side. So they got the D-suit onto Cool Mat right away, transition into those dual ultimates, then completely wipe the floor over with the USA. But here we go, ultimate's gonna be coming in. Soundbring gonna be popped out of both teams. Actually really good out of Canada, and Jake has managed to get behind them. He's gonna be popping his tank for him. He's gonna be coming around the corner looking for some kills, but the Winston's gonna be knocking away the backlines of both teams here, and Jake is trying to be forced to heal himself because Mongoose is there to block out a lot of his damage. Now the Transcendence team to come in, but Sinatra picks himself up 2 big kills, now a 3rd. This man is going off. The distraction of Jake works out, and Sinatra, without even having to use the pulse bomb, does solidify 3, does help this payload move ever further.
Oh man, that's exactly what we're talking about, where he was completely shut down on Bastion. Fortunately enough, his team came through for him in the back, but they didn't take the Diva down yet. He was unable to shoot any of the rockets out of the tank form because you don't have the soldiers shooting at the Diva all the time to get her defense matrix down if you're flanking as a Bastion.
And now, Star, talk to us about the second point, the street phase here of Dorado. A lot of teams have troubles with dealing with the high ground. You know, how do you see teams kind of combat that, and are we seeing that currently out of the US to take away this position?
I mean, depending again how committed they are to the Bastion, he really isn't mobile enough to deal with the high ground appropriately. They don't have anyone that can get up there quickly. So this area might be a little bit of a trouble for him, though Jake is setting up in a sneaky little corner down there. I think they're trying to bait some people into coming down. Maybe if one person drops off, they'll get shredded immediately, but you really have to worry about this this Diva now, because Diva shuts it down so hard.
Well, Jake got it. XQC drops to the low ground. He takes him down, and now he's just trying to backwards. Mangochu is chasing him inside of the church, but only half HP left. He's going to have to back off here. In fact, a Fiction be popping that Primal Rage here. Jake, you got to move, son. You got to get away from that self-destruct. He's just going to get around the corner in time, but he gets the kill nonetheless. The payload's still moving, and Canada are being forced to run away.
Oh man, I actually really like how Jake is playing this. He was just completely silent. There's no, you know when you run into a Bastion and there was no reason for it to be there and you die and you're like, wow, he's so bad, why would you be there? But you're the dead one.
Exactly. And not sure if Surefour does have his visor ready to go, but Cool Mat still hasn't been desuited. Jake's eventually going to go down as he got jumped on by quite a few people. Actually, no, he was trying to set up on the high ground here, trying to catch him off guard yet again, but now Cool Mat, he's going to be the one forced to run away, but Sinatra's not being kept in check. He takes down both supports himself, gets a pulse bomb off, which obviously doesn't really connect onto too much, but nonetheless, with no supports left alive here for Canada, they're going to have to back off or eventually just fall and try to contest the payload for as long as they can.
That was great from Cool Mat there. The entire time, you know Surefour wanted to use his ultimate. Diva was just in his face. Didn't even have to block the ultimate, just kept him out of the high ground long enough that the team was able to capture the point, completely nullified the soldier, and just walk through here.
Sinatra, he's our youngest player, right? His mother's actually here to be with them because he needs it for legal guardianship to be here, but I think he's playing out of his skin just for her.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, that's what I do when I cast. I try to, you know, my mom, make her proud. In the meantime, Canada's going to be pushing behind them. You can see Jake trying to run away because he realizes the direction they're coming from. As Surefour has popped the visor, but the Transcendence there, you're not really going to have a chance to kill anyone. You're not going to be able to burst anyone down, especially if you don't have an Ana on your side to get that biotic grenade down. But there's the response out of Rolf. Able to keep his teammates healthy. Surefour on the high ground, still not really being dealt with, but just as I say that, Fact Fiction's going to knock him away and force him out of this fight.
Yeah, the work that the tanks are doing to keep Surefour out of the equation here has been fantastic. Jake in the ultimate right there. Ooh, takes 2 down with 1 shot. What do you get both supports with 1 shot? Mangochu finally killing with a nuclear Diva bomb. But that was an interesting engagement there. Cart's still moving, though.
Yeah, USA's not going to finish off this point, but they're going to need a lot of distance here. And Sinatra, with them coming out of their spawn, has the opportunity to hit a great pulse bomb. But now Rolf Switching over to Sombra here. The first time we're going to see her in the show match. Maybe we'll see a little bit more later on. Sinatra's going to miss his pulse bomb, unfortunately, but Agility's not going to do so. He's going to connect onto Fact of Fiction. He's going to fall, and the chase is going to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sombra is a character people aren't 100% used to seeing yet. She's becoming a little bit more and more popular for one of the support players to switch off. Usually you have a Lucio and a Sombra because you get that healing from those health packs. They're going to be able to benefit from the one in that little corridor there and also deny the healing from the other team. And EMP builds so fast that you can still have it for this last fight, which is going to do a lot of shutdown of the D.Va and let you be able to reign supreme for all your DPS.
Not to mention the hack. Very frustrating if you're a person going up against it. Not to mention the health packs that can really work here. But self-destruct going to be coming in. Mangachu's just barely going to survive here. You can see him getting back into his suit. With only 60 HP, he's being forced back immediately here. The payload's still moving. Finally, someone's going to go back and contest it here, but it forces the rest of Canada to be out of position. And Mangachu's going to get decent in just a few seconds. It allows Sinatra and Jake to pair together, the two diving duos of this team, to make some kills happen, and they've already been able to pick up 3. Even the attack fires are coming out of Surefour to eventually pick up the kill to Sinatra, but I would imagine someone's going to be able to eat up that damage. Coolmat, with no defense matrix left, is just going to use his face to block the bullets. Surefour's still able to pick up that initial kill, and then that's the hack coming through as well to just stop this.
Oh no, that is the most frustrating thing in Overwatch right now, being a soldier and just being, there's this D.Va, I can't do anything, being kept in the spawn room there. Explosions going off, looks like we're going to have a couple of people go down from Team USA. They may hold here. No.
Oh, they may not, yeah. I'm going to choose like the last guy there, but he gets knocked away by Fact of Fiction. There we go, the US of A have been able to finish off Dorado with 1 minute and 45 remaining. Canada, you couldn't get the first point of Hollywood. Here's your chance for some redemption.
Yeah, that's a really good looking time for Dorado there to be able to finish the map. A lot of times people get choked up there at the end when the high ground, pretty much this whole map is high ground in defenders' favor, but I think the tanks from the USA national team are doing phenomenal work right now, that they are keeping all of the threats down. Surefour is such a powerful, dominant DPS throughout the entire lifespan of Overwatch. He's been one of the #1 DPS players in North America region. But he's not getting a chance to do much of anything when there's Winston, D.Va cycling one after another attacking him.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on these guys. I think, you know, the USA national Overwatch team has really narrowed down where the big threats of Canada is. Like I said, Surefour trying to control him with the D.Va, with the Winston. You saw if it wasn't Coolmat in his face with the defense matrix, it was gonna be Fact of Fiction with his Primal Rage to just knock him away, to constantly keep him not a threat at all. See Sinatra there looking happy to be here, playing for his fans out there, playing as Tracer as well. This man is such a ridiculous player. You've seen him online, you've seen him in person, he can play just as well here as he does at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really proud of everybody, proud of all my boys out here.
Proud of us, right? For choosing them, right? We get credit in there. Say works eventually.
Yeah, if you try and give yourself a little bit of credit for that, I guess you could. But I mean, I'm the one up here talking about them winning. And again, they won with Bastion, which is even more impressive. The dignity of Canada, that's a morale hit. They didn't do the Bastion v Bastion, they still lost.
Well, we might see Surefour though rise to the occasion. Maybe he'll be playing
not
Bastion
necessarily lost yet, but that is a daunting time to try and match.
See Surefour there. I think he has his fidget spinner as well on the desk. One of the few players I think has one and like openly loves it too.
Just the kind of guy he is.
Yeah. All right, we are seeing Lewis switch up for Canada. It looks like we will have a fair Mercy. But look who it's... Wait, what? So Rolf's on Bastion right now. Agilities is on the Mercy. And Mangachu's running the Fair. So they're switching things up like crazy. Even Rolf switching back to the Hanzo. So maybe try to catch the US off guard.
I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know why Mangachu just concussed a building. But I hope it works for them.
I mean, I talked to him before asking, is it going to be him or Surefour playing that? And he said Surefour because he's hands down better than him. But Surefour is going to be sticking to the Tracer. And so far, the US have been able to hold them at their own spawn.
Man, it's not looking good right now. Still, yeah, not really able to get a spawn. Jake's just, you know, doing laps, getting some exercise out there. But they're able to come out here. Again, we're going to have that Mercy bonus damage. The Resurrect, I think, might play a really big role in this. Trying to take down the D.Va off this high ground. It's so hard to get the tanks off of that high ground right there because Ana can heal them. Usually just have the D.Va and Winston play together right there. But the Pharah is going to be able to contest this high ground. Hopefully get a pick.
Hopefully he's looking for it. You can see him doing a decent amount of damage. But the big problem for Mangachu is going to be that D.Va being played by Coolmat to just pop a defense matrix, limit the damage he can do. You can see Jake trying to run away as well as Mangachu's going to get the connection, but not the actual frag. And Coolmat's trying to stop his payload from pushing with some heals off to the side. That pulse bomb not going to land on anyone, unfortunately. But Jake and Raucus, they have their combo ready to go. It's not just gone down, so maybe Canada have been finally able to make some progression here.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, I'm really interested in how this goes. We do have Rolf with a dead body right now as he evaporates underneath Jake. Sorry, he just comes in and cleans everything up. Everything they had going for them is now buried.
Oh, yeah, there's the res as well. So the 2 kills that we did see Jake get just get completely mitigated. Mangachu's going to pop off his barrage, take down Adam, and that allows Canada to take this first checkpoint with such a weird, wonky comp. They do have 2 supports, but Agilities of all people, the Genji player for the team, one of the DPS players for the team, is on the Mercy.
I mean, I'm really not sure what's going on, but I mean, it's working. Mercy is... She brought everyone back to life. They were in the ground. Now they're back to life. Mangachu pushing the D.Va around, trying to stay up top here. She only has a little sliver of health. One rocket will take her down, but Agilities goes down. Oh no, run away.
She almost dies to that one because he gets stalled up. But Kuomet picks himself up, killing XQC, and kills Mangachu with the Bunny Blaster. So there you go. US is going to actually hold them on that first checkpoint with 4.38 meters to go. They're going to maintain this one, and now Canada, are they going to switch things up? Or are they going to continue going? What's been kind of working for them.
I know it's a little bit weird that this many players would come all the way to LA, group up together, and play quick play together.
I don't know about quick play. This looks like my rank matches.
Oh, jeez.
All right, well, I mean, we're going to see Rolf actually switch over to Soldier, so maybe Shoney can flex to quite a few different things. I want to see the flex support player for his team, and Mangachu is going to be coming in towards the backside. It actually immediately spots out Rocket, so it gets a lot of good information, but you can see Kuomet there again. Kai talked about him as being one of the best American or Western world divas, and we're seeing it right there. He knows exactly where the pressure's coming in. Rocket is going to stay alive for now.
Get in there.
Yeah, I have to admit right now that for me, Kuomet was one of the harder one of the choices to pick for Team USA. But just being good at D.Va really does, as Kai said in the beginning, means so much right now that he has been everywhere he's needed to be to shut down every person, saving his own, a moment ago as we saw, saving the Ana, making sure she can't take any damage. He's been on point this whole set.
And if you guys don't know who Kai is, he's currently coaching for Envious over in Korea, playing in Apex. I think they even have a match in like 2 days against Meta Athena. So he definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to the 2-2-2 and how strong a D.Va can be for a team when you pair with a Winston, especially if you can play it really defensively. Jake just trying to kite or trying to run away as Achilles just going to punch him to the face and eventually fall. But the payload was actually backdoored here. I believe USA wasn't watching this one. They get a little bit too aggressive, and whoever that was able to save that one and give some extra time on the board.
And when you have Cloud9 players on both teams, whose fault is it really?
I don't know. I really don't know. Well, either way, they're able to get this checkpoint, able to get a little bit further up. The US still continuing to play this composition, where Canada's having a little bit more fun with it, it seems.
Oh, this is definitely like ranked, because I'm seeing so many things that aren't making any sense to me. Like, why would you res right there? You just got the checkpoint. You respawn there. And yet, they're making progress. You always ask yourself, like, how is this work? I mean, I guess it's working. Again, the weirdest thing to me is that Agility is like a star DPS player. I mean, I'll pick up Mercy. And Rolf, a star support player, is it's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Agilities, if you guys don't know, he plays for Immortals at the moment. Really strong up-and-coming North American team, as well as XQC playing for Yikes. He was actually recently, I think, first placed in Contenders, if I'm not mistaken. Meantime, Postbomb I actually think landed onto Fact or Fiction, trying to smack away to Agilities like a fly in the sky. As he's able to escape from that one, but that attack fires on the ropes just really not going to accomplish anything, because again, Cool Match is going to be there, mitigating most of his damage. If it's not his defense matrix, it's going to be his face.
Yeah, absolutely. They are making a little bit of progress, slowly but surely through this point, trying to take some chip damage off of the high ground there to keep them on their toes, make sure they go down. Shoreful was able to take down Fact Fiction, but Agilities goes down, not going to have any resurrections, didn't have it ready anyway. And he's got you in his sights.
Well, Jake's looking to pick up kills, but that Sound Bear is going to be a little bit too strong for him, and he loses the battle against Rolf. He secures that kill with the Helix Rocket. Snotch was able to at least get one back with the kill on XQC, and they're still contesting the payload in the meantime, where they're waiting for those respawns to come back in. But Rolf, he's not being contested. That Discord's going to come on top of him, but there's really no one there to support these kills. And even Agility's just amping his damage up a little bit more to make him that much deadly.
Yeah, Rolf was able to just hang in the back there. They know they're backing up at this point. He was able to build so much ultimate. Sinatra, ooh, goes down. Doesn't look like the pulse bomb was able to do anything.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for him as he does pay the ultimate price. As he does fall, and the payload's going to continue to move here, but Jake on the high ground is just trying to be that nuisance. Eventually, they've actually chased away here. As XQC is able to get in towards his face. The barrage will be coming through. Mangachu looking for that D-suit, but a little bit unfortunate there, not able to land. But still connecting quite a few of these rockets, but there's going to be the Transcendence out of Rockets, so a big defensive support ultimate committed, and it didn't even save Cool Mat's suit.
Man, like, seriously, Cool Matt looks so frustrating to play against right now. You have a Pharaoh ult, no you don't. You have a Soldier ult, no you don't. Everywhere he's needed to be. It's always so hard to manage and know exactly when you need... Ooh, no, Sinatra!
Well, Adam's there to save him. Gets a nice little headshot, but they're running a double hit scan. So talk to us really quick while we have a little bit of time here. Double hit scan with the Zenyatta against the Pharaoh. Why is that so devastating?
Well, you discord the Pharaoh or the Mercy. preferably the Mercy if you can catch her out. And there is no safe place to be in the sky. Usually Mercy wants to fly up to the Pharah to escape the damage that's on the ground. But when the damage on the ground is a soldier and a McCree, there's really nowhere to go.
All right, well, we're about to hit overtime here. Hopefully, someone in Canada does touch the payload. Okay, we're gonna get someone in there. I was hoping for not another Cloud9 here, but Megachu's gonna get a kill on Sinatra. In the meantime, Joe Meister is gonna be continuing to push this payload up. That's gonna be Jake for the background as the res has come in. There's no one really else to stop him here. He's looking for the 1v1 against Mangachu, and he doesn't get it. He drops the direct rockets out of him with the help of the Sound Bear, keeps him alive and keeps the hopes of Canada alive as even the self-destruct to come down to Kubat to secure 1 kill, but Mangachu able to play from the high ground, is able to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, I cannot believe they're able to hold on here. That sound barrier was absolutely crucial at the perfect moment. Unfortunately, Sinatra's able to respawn, come back out here as McCree, and find the kills that they need to because the fight just took too long. And man, that has to feel bad for Canada. I mean, even with the wacky team you were playing, like, to drop right there at the end, it felt like they had that.
Sir, does this now mean Bastion's viable in competitive play?
No.
I saw your face, like, Jason, how dare you ask me that?
I thought about it for a moment, then no.
All right, well, Canada, I don't even know what to say about that, actually. I hope maybe Golden Boy talks to them, because that was a little confusing to see. Rolf on DPS and Agility's on support. Meantime, play the game's going over to Jake here. Playing Bastion for the most part. Able to get Blade up really quickly. Able to transition into some kills there, just dashing through Agilities in a second onto Joe Meister. So US now 2-0 up. It was just a show match. We're not really playing for anything in particular, but for pride, I think definitely is important for a lot of these players.
Nothing in particular, just the most important thing, winning.
True.
I mean,
True.
Canada's going to have to go home and explain to all their mooses, their mises, you know, what went wrong down in California.
Well, nonetheless, they still have more time to practice anyways before we do kick off the actual Overwatch World Cup. The US looking good. We saw Sinatra on McCree. We talked about flexibility. Wanted to make sure to see that. We want to make sure to see that people can play quite a few different heroes. But guys, let's head down to Golden Boy on the stage. Let's talk to some of the players.
All right, guys, down here with Cool Matt. Matt, how you feeling right now, man?
Feeling good, having fun.
I could tell all you guys seem to be having a pretty good time here. You've been doing some work on D.Va, so I do want to talk about this here because very clearly Kai put a lot of faith in you as a D.Va player himself. Was looking for you to kind of do the same thing here. What is about this team right now that's just clicking?
I think that me and Fact work really well together, and I think that's what the core of the meta is like the D.Va and the Winston working well together. And Fact is like really receptive to my calls, so I think it's just working.
So you guys are just you're clicking. You're a cohesive unit right now.
And like, you know.
I don't, what? Okay, sure. We're just gonna, you know, we'll let it, you know. Oh yeah, okay, fair point. You know, we'll just say it was like ET or whatever. Sure. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys get back to your game. Have fun. Best of luck in the next round. For now, we're just gonna go ahead and send it back over to the casters. Guys, take it away.
Don't know what that was, but
we're sitting here trying to figure it out. Like, oh, maybe there's some magic in that. Maybe we could become better casters if we just connect.
Dragon Ball Z fusion would be pretty sick out of us. I don't know what it would look like. Probably very handsome. Anyways, yeah, so cool about they're talking about D.Va with Golden Boy, talking about how important it really is to be able to play her and play her well. And I think we've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, D.Va's one of those characters where for me, I've even struggled to watch people play her and be like, what's the skill cap? I mean, she's pretty simple. You just get in people's face. She's very simple, but seeing a good D.Va play, like, they just bring things that you didn't know exist. Yeah. When you have so little defense matrix to work with, but you know exactly where it needs to go and what players timing, knowing when the ults are going to come to get ready for them, it's been phenomenal to see Cool Matt play right now. It's
basically like an unsung hero if you're a really good D.Va, because you don't really get the credit necessarily you maybe deserve, but the fact that you're saving your supports, which we saw him do quite a few times to Raucus, the fact that you're mitigating Surefour completely out of the game when you jump in his face, like the ability to be in the right position at the right time, it's really making me want to play D.Va, and D.Va's like one of my least favorite characters because I'm terrible with her.
I think that's a lot of people's problem is that no one has ever really wanted to play D.Va, and she's been in such a bad spot consistently that no one's been like, yeah, I'm going to be a D.Va main. But she's come to be really in the meta at this point and really powerful with the compositions everyone's running.
All right, Stir, we're going into our third map here in a second. It's going to be King's Row, and this is the map that we got to see the tryouts play quite a few times for the USA national team, national Overwatch team, and we got to see Sinatra playing Zarya.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
And this man is a beast. You saw a little bit on Hollywood, right? But on King's Row, he's completely different.
I think that this has always been one of any team's most comfortable map. It just seemed to be like, you know, every game has that one map that everyone just always plays. Lost Temple, StarCraft, like that's what we do. King's
Dust
Row just
2
came out
Counter-Strike.
early, yeah, that everyone really liked practicing on King's Row. And I think Team USA has been doing really well on it in general just because the triple tank that they felt more comfortable with naturally when they were practicing was something that they were really strong with, and it's really good on King's Row.
Well, Canada, we're going to see Schiffer hovering over Widowmaker. I'd love to see that, actually. Widowmaker can always make games extremely exciting. If you can just hit that first headshot, maybe transition into a second. And I think they actually talked about this before. I think actually Schiffer and Jake were talking about it when they were on the couch earlier, talking about how strong Widow and Hanzo together can be, because Hanzo can give Widow the vision she needs to hit those shots when someone's coming around a corner, since it's not projectile, it's a bullet. And then in turn, Schiffer, when he gets his ultimate, gives Mangachu the vision he needs.
Yeah, you may be seeing them switch off pretty immediately. You often see Hanzo shoot the sonar, let the team know what's going on. If they go with this a little bit longer, that'd be kind of odd. But it can definitely work because the Widowmaker getting that extra vision from sonar, they really feed off of each other so well. But this is a really great composition to force the defending team back into a corner where you can really manipulate everything that you want to do with them.
Since when did NIP start playing for USA? A quad tank setup here with Rockets on the Ana and Adam on the Lucio. Like you're saying, trying to force their position. Widowmaker does it extremely well with sight lines, mitigates and prevents a lot of positions that you can look from. As you can see, he's just going to hit a couple of shots over on the Rockets with Jake already going down, but Surefour on the Zarya, able to get the charge up off the bat. Fact Fiction being forced back, and Sinatra getting slept up a little bit too aggressively. It doesn't matter. Wolf has gone down on the Tracer, and Surefour is still sticking to his Widowmaker. He's hitting quite a few shots, but the problem is, there's 4 tanks.
No, there's no follow-up either. I really feel like that was going so well in their favor just from his perspective that you're the Widowmaker that's like, why won't my team help me? Because Reinhardt's almost dead, Zarya almost died. So many people almost went down, but not able to find the final blows on anybody.
All right, Stir, we're seeing the fabled Junkrat out of Jake here, who actually, he told me he has an account in the top 500 that's Junkrat only. And he better live up to it here as
oh
we
my
see
god,
him pick
that's
it
what
up.
PvP Live is.
Maybe. Well,
Wow.
let's see if he's gonna be able to pick up anything. You can see the infra sight out of Schiffer has gone off to give him that vision to see where people are. Wolf already been spotted out down to 50 HP. Needs to pick up that health pack, but the point, it's being captured. They had to give up ground. And that's gonna be the Dragon Strike coming through. Gets himself a triple kill. Jake, Rockets, and Fact Fiction all go down. Mangachu, maybe you should play Hanzo a little bit more here. He's able to get so many kills.
I mean, you say that and then you see something like that. Hanzo's either hitting him or he's not. Somewhere in between, but that
Well,
Dragon
that's the thing
Strike.
about Hanzo, right? You hit one headshot, it doesn't matter how many shots you missed, you still got that kill.
Yeah, absolutely, and that one pick is always really important. I mean, Roadhog gets a shot at grabbing someone every 8 seconds. Hanzo is just, he always has a chance to do something he didn't expect to do.
Oh, Jake. He talked about the Bastion versus Bastion. He's going Widow v Widow. Able to get the first kill on his Surefour, maybe catching him off guard a little bit. In the meantime, USA is going to be pushing up, trying to get aggressive on the payloads. Rolf on the Tracer like we saw before. Being a nuisance towards the back again. You see Coolmat there, ready to go, ready to mitigate a lot of his damage. And Surefour, able to get a headshot onto Sinatra, who has that Graviton ready to go, but they don't want to force these kills. And this is, again, popping the Nano Boost onto Sinatra when he's high energy. And the tracking this man can do, it is so hard to really deal with that damage.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have Graviton ready. They're looking pretty strong right here. Ooh, Raucus gets domed. Adam takes down Rolf somewhere. Not quite sure what went on there, but it looks like they're just going to back up and wait to have a nice little controlled fight here with the Graviton.
Well, there's nothing to stop it, though. There's not going to be a defense matrix, and that grab's going to connect on to 3 or 4 people. The Dragon Strike catches Fact Fiction off guard as he's trying to charge straight through the grab. Mangachu coming at big with Coolmat. Gets himself a double kill, gets both supports now down, and Mangachu's going to be forced out here. Sinatra with no HP left gets the kill, has 100 energy again, and gets another kill in a roll with the right click. This man just will not die.
My.
Sinatra, 50 HP. Eventually will fall, but does the work nonetheless.
This is what we're saying with Sinatra, where you can say that that Gravitron was a little bit greedy.
Right.
And that maybe he didn't need to do it, you didn't have the proper follow-up at the time, but he builds it so fast. He always has charge, he's always doing damage and finding these kills that he's just going to have another one before you know it.
Well, speaking of that, he just grabbed in that last fight, and he's at 64% again. This man is a beast here, but in the meantime, Canada have to give him some credit. The payload's still continuing to push here. They're forcing the US back. Coolmat is down, and XQC getting a little bit aggressive as that leaves the backline. Available to be Earthshatter. Now Fact Fiction's going to be getting the ultimate with the net on top of it. Surefour's going to go for the freeze. He's forcing him to keep the shield up so he actually can't get any damage done. Get a mitigation from this one, but the shield's going to be there. The damage is still there as well. Looks like Sinatra will at least pick up 1 kill.
If anything, a lot of times stalled on the cart there, but they're going to be a little bit separated, not able to properly contest the last part of this push the way you need to. They may need to back up here and really wait for some team to show up and help them out.
Well, they have a good counter for the Graviton with the Ice Wall, but the Ice Wall's not down, so they need to stall for a little bit of time here. Surefour needs to actually not fall from this one. The Graviton, it's ready to go, and Surefour's gonna fall, so they're not gonna have the wall to mitigate this one. The Pulse Bomb comes through, but it's not gonna land. Sinatraa gets away, gets himself another double kill. Doesn't even need to use the Grav, but he's still doing the work. He's still picking up the kills, and US will hold again.
Yeah, just ticking away on little Lucio. Trying to make some music up there on the wall, but little does he know another Grav is going to be awaiting their next push. Hopefully they have a little bit more setup for it right now. We're actually seeing Jake on Reaper, which
Flashbacks.
is, yeah, that's another odd pick. It's a little bit too easy for Reaper to get booped away by a Lucio and have his whole ult nullified by a D.Va at this point in the game, but he's trying it anyway. He might get caught out here by... Oh, no,
He's gonna get bubbled up and teleport away.
Man, Team USA, you're making me so happy. The coordination there to save him.
Well, that Dragon Strike has come through, though. Hasn't really connected onto too much, but they're actually able to zone them away here. The Graviton going to come yet again in here. The Nano Boost going to be on Jake, who's looking for the kills. He gets the damage done, gets himself a double, and Surefour on the Mei is not going to have a single chance to escape this one.
And the crowd cheers. So nice to hear it. Actually have a live event here showing off these teams, getting some hype ready for the Overwatch World Cup coming up in the next couple of months. So hyped.
And Jake, look at this. He's behind the team. He's actually looking for Joemeister right away. He gets that kill. He wants more. He's not able to connect over on Agilities just now, who again's playing support for his team. But he's going to be able to get away. And that Death Blossom, well, I was going to say he's going to get away as Rolf's going to finish him off, but he has a Death Blossom ready to go. In fact, Fiction's going to be able to hold up front here with this Earth Shatter.
Yeah, but a lot of ultimates are locked here for Team Canada. They're going to be coming in strong. Surefour is looking like he's trying to lead the pack forward a bit from the rest of his team. He's got Mei ult, which he wants to throw in here as soon as he can, but you got to watch out for that D.Va eating it. It's actually one of the easiest ultimates to eat. It has this really long hitbox. Misses the Earth Shatter in a really tough spot right now. Going to get frozen. Oh, no.
The Sleep Dart, then the Charge, then the Self-Destruct takes Surefour out of this equation. And now Fact of Fiction's eventually going to fall. He gets charged back in. A Busho going to be coming in. Adam, what do you got, son? Let's see that aim as he's looking for a couple of connections. Not going to get a kill, but it doesn't matter. They're able to hold him off again. Even Surefour now switching over to Pharah with 40 seconds remaining.
Ooh, and there comes a couple of random kills out of nowhere at the end there. Jake creeping in the shadows like a Reaper does, waiting for this next fight in a moment. I'm really curious to see if Jake can actually pull off a successful Reaper roll. Now, it really has become so difficult to do it, which is one of the reasons you're not seeing him quite so often. It's so easy to push him away, and there's always a D.Va.
Well, not to mention, there's going to be a Roadhog this time, as Mangachu's going to be on this one. So if Jake does pop that Death Blossom, well, he's going to be pretty much hooked in right away. You can see directly behind the team. He's even looking for a teleport into the midst of them. But they need to do something. They actually lost quite a few people. Sinatra's gone down. He had the Graviton Surge that they maybe needed to hold this one off here. And Jake has to get in the contest, but instead, he's going to let it go. So you look for the refight here, realize there's no point in wasting his ultimate for now. Wait for Sinatraa to get back in the party. Make something happen.
Oh, yeah, he's hidden in the back right now. Sinatraa, again, of course, has another grab. So probably going to be looking for that the Grav Reaper combo, see if they can pull that off. There it is. Where's the Reaper at? On top of the cart, spinning around. One kill only so far on Joemeister.
The Beyblade's not back and ready, guys. It's still dead here as Jake with 7 HP is actually charging directly into them. Not sure what he's doing there, but eventually going to get punched to the face. He will die, and Canada will be halted in progression for now, but the US needs to back away, and I think Coolmat actually, he gets the hook to put him over the edge, then gets the D-suit, so he falls to his death. Well played here by Mangachu.
I mean, secretly, most D.Va players are probably just happy they died as quickly as possible. That's not true. We just love to see D.Va die. And there goes another person. Oh, and he's down. Down, down, down. Such a dangerous pit here.
It is a very dangerous pit, and he's got to be happy about that one as his teammate fortunately met the same fate here. Surefour going to run around the corner directly into the fat man here at a Roadhog. Jake solidifies another kill, but 20 seconds to go. Able to get 2 checkpoints done, so we get finally some progression. Where previously they have been halted, and Sinatra's going to be back on the McCree here. But Rolf has the opportunity with the Pulse Bomb to really go big. If Coolmat can't stop this one, if he can't mitigate it and actually eat it, we could see Rolf going big for his team. Actually, it looks like it went down, but it didn't really connect on anyone.
Oh yeah, the Earth Shatter is going to play a big part in here. If he can actually connect it, XQC here goes down, unfortunately, before he was able to use it. And that's a big, big, unfortunate circumstance there for Team Canada, losing a lot of their players at the beginning. Now it's going to be even harder to kill them with that beat drop. To Deadeye from the back may be able to come out in just a second as the D.Va Matrix protects him, but he's not even going to need, there it is, trying to keep people off the cart, and actually finds one. I didn't see where he was able to find that shot. It looked like they were all safe, but coming in with the flashbang, cleaning up the last couple of kills. And that's Team USA holding on King's Row.
And I believe Sinatraa actually caught out onto Surefour on the high ground there. Just with a sliver of vision of him, I guess we can say.
He looks safe to me. He was cheating.
Well, either way, Canada now, they've been able to put a good marker on this map here, getting 2 points in at 48 meters as well. All right, US of A here. I totally expect them to run the comp they're currently sitting on with the Hanzo and the Zarya again, like we did see on Hollywood.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's really powerful. I think the Zarya, of course, like I was saying in the beginning, King's Row, Sinatra, just makes so much sense that I can't see how you wouldn't want to run it here. But I do want to take a minute and talk about Canada. They've been doing a little bit poorly here, but their team actually is really solid.
Yeah.
You have Shore4, of course, we've mentioned many times. Consistently been one of the top DPSs. Agilities recently on Genji has been playing very well. XQC known for playing a lot of Winston. Anything else?
Winston.
Mostly Winston.
Win is in the name of the hero, so.
Yeah, I've actually really been looking forward. Last year, Mangachu didn't quite make Team Canada, but I've been looking forward to seeing him play a lot more competitive. I've known him for a long time, going back into Team Fortress 2, so it's really cool to see him here. He's consistently had really good projectile characters. Pharah especially, he's always done some really creative things on characters. And of course, Joe Meister and Rolf is a phenomenal support combo.
Oh, yeah.
Rolf has actually always been one of my favorite Zenyatta players. He's always had incredible accuracy on that character. Always a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it is indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us from home and online here, we're at the Twitch Esports Arena presented by T-Mobile for the announcement of the USA National Overwatch team and also a show match between them and Canada. And so far, as you can see on the scoreboard, US of A are winning 2-0. And it looks like Team US will be keeping true to the comp they've been sitting on here, where Shore4, he's thrown the gauntlet down. Well, Jake threw it down earlier on with the Bastion, and now Shore4 is finally picking that one back up and looking for the battle.
Yeah, we'll see if anything actually happens that way. I'm not quite sure yet where the Bastion is set up. There he is in the back. It's going to be really dangerous there unless the Reinhardt plays a little bit closer. He's getting arrows shot into him. Unfortunately, one or two don't connect. Jake actually finds the Ana. That's a huge pick coming in here. They might even be able to just steamroll this defense now that they don't have the proper healing they need. Bastion is running away around the corner, able to stay alive a little bit longer, hold on to his robot dreams, but they're going to dissipate.
Yeah, and that's going to be US taking that first point here with relative ease. Again, Jake opening things up here with the Hanzo with that first kill onto Agilities. Now he's actually trying to get some more vision as they're going to be coming out of their own spawn here in towards that subway. I think it's an opportunity for a really easy pick. He's looking for the scatter shot. Oh no, he's looking for the kill. Oh, and a Shore4 gets about half HP. Looks like his geometry was not on point here. He needs to maybe stay in school a little bit longer. But either way, Canada able to respawn, able to push forward, able to hold this choke point. Ideally, if they can, but Jake's behind them. Actually, no one's even looking in his direction.
Yeah, we actually are seeing Agilities again on support, which, as we were bringing up earlier, was a little bit weird. But if you look at the Team Canada closely, you have...
Got eaten!
Yeah.
Rolf ate him with defense matrices. Jake is trying to come in from behind. He gets a lot of damage done, yes, but the ultimate doesn't go off. In fact, Fiction going to get an Earth Shatter off before he does fall. But I don't know if they have the backup for this one because the maid pick out of Mangachu is buying a lot of time. It's buying a lot of zoning potential.
Yeah, that fight just swung completely in a second there with a couple of eaten ultimates. But as I was saying, Agilities, Mangachu, and Shore4 are all very consistently DPS players. Someone has to... Their team is set up in a way that I don't think they're quite yet comfortable with what each person has to play to have a solid 100% cohesive team if Agilities is going to be the one playing support.
I mean, we're going to find out, and maybe it's just because they don't want to show anything necessarily. They don't want to show what they can really perform.
They're going to have to show me 1 point on the scoreboard before you can use that excuse.
All right, well, maybe we'll see that onto this map as they're actually able to hold strong here with the help of that Blizzard and that Ice Wall to just zone them off. Coolmat's going to be running away with his tail between his legs. Jake with like a sliver of HP here. Shore4's looking for this kill. He wants it so bad, and Jake's just waiting. And Shore4's going to go down! Jake playing that one perfectly. He says, "What's up, son?" Gets the kill. I mean, his team did die, but it was so worth it.
I mean, that was the only fight that mattered, and then he gets taken down by a couple little pellets from a diva showing up top.
Just getting peppered with bullet pellets. Oh, I can't speak. Either way, that's going to be the Grouch Surge coming through. Rolf doesn't eat it in time, and Shore4's just on the respawn back in. The self-destruct going to come in to zone the way, and Sinatra gets the initial kill, and the Earth Shatter comes in really big in effect of Fiction. Able to help clean this one up here, and US going to continue to push this payload further.
That Earth Shatter was beyond belief. Oh.
It was unbelievable.
Back to Fiction. Yeah. I'm sorry, like, when you have to explain the joke, you just move on and say, wow, look at how well Sinatra's playing again here at 60, 80% charge, walking forward. He did again, like, as we're saying, just use Grav, 55% again.
Yeah, and we did see, I think it was Rolf use a self-destruct just to zone them away, but Back to Fiction was there in time to actually wall them off with his own shield. I think he's being forced to back away. XQC doesn't have his Earth Shatter, but he's playing like he almost has it up. And Twitch's directly behind him, just attacking the back lines. Eventually, it's going to be Mangachu there just to force him back because he does have the potential to freeze him. And using the Ice Wall just to mitigate the damage they can do, but that self-destruct going to be coming through. Sinatra looking for some kills. The Blizzard's going to come in, and somehow Twitch gets a double kill, gets a decent onto Rolf. With the Dragon Strike coming through, this payload's just not going to be stopped.
Man, that looked good for Canada for a second, and so many of these situations have looked pretty good for them, and then just something tragic turns the whole thing around.
And that was in the hands of Coolmat, pick himself up a double kill there. Getting down Surefour and Agilities, and now Jason continue to push up here, try to lock them in spawn. Geometry definitely on point this game here. Surefour's just trying to pop off a couple of rockets in his direction to force him back, but Sinatra has Graviton, and all they really need is one fight to close this one out. They switched off for Canada the D.Va, so they have no way to actually mitigate this from coming through.
Couple of kills coming in here. I mean, that looks like it's going to have to be it. There's not much more you can do after losing that many players. They don't have to push it much further. The respawns are so far away, and that's going to be Team USA taking the third map consecutively.
Now, Stir, I'm a little bit scared, actually.
I'm not
You
scared.
ever see people peak in a tournament early on? Showing what they got here now before the actual group stage kicks off?
I know last year at the World Cup, Team USA, probably when we showed up and first started practicing against the other teams, it was a little bit more impromptu. There was less time to practice beforehand. But we really felt like we were one of the strongest teams there. And then
you were.
The other teams practiced a little bit, and then, you know, not really too sure what happened after that. I mean, Canada, I think, as a team, has more to work out on what they need to do and who needs to play what position more than USA does. We built Team USA to be cohesive,
right.
But I think Canada's going to have to learn who's going to support. Is it going to be Agilities moving forward? Who do you want on what tank? Because there's a little bit of a role gap there for them.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we keep saying it, but they got time to figure that one out. And the US just maybe being a little bit stronger now than Canada can be. But we know Canada has the players to be one of the best teams.
We're in America.
Yeah.
We're in America, so that's like plus 20% bonus.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you at least give us some noise here for the US of A trying to pull off a 4-0 versus Canada? And so far, they're one map away from doing it here. Stir, Lijiang Tower is our next map. I'm hoping to see some fair mercy.
If Canada's going to win one, this is it. Because Lijiang Tower, all the King of the Hill maps are a little bit more chaotic, crazy, stuff going on everywhere. It's King of the Hill, you know, nonsense can happen, I guess. So they've been a little bit uncoordinated, and maybe that'll help them a bit here.
All right, well, Lijiang Tower will be our next map. But before we do get into that one, let's head back to Golden Boy on the stage.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Down here with Sinatra. My man, how you feeling? You guys are on a roll right now. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're just fragging. I don't know.
Just doing everything you can. So I found out, what Jason said, it kind of spoiled it for me, that your mom's here, as a matter of fact. Where is she? Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, can we give a shout out to Sinatra's mom? Can we get a round of applause? Mothers in esports, mothers supporting gamers. Awesome stuff. So you're a young player. How's this experience been for you to be here, represent, you know, the U.S. national Overwatch team? What's this been like?
Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go pro. And thanks to my parents, they like really support me with what I do, so.
Well, that's awesome. And what can we expect from you guys going into the final match here on Lijiang Tower?
Definitely 3-0, easy.
Ooh, spicy. All right, well, that's going to do it, guys. Give a round of applause for Sinatra one more time. Let's go ahead, send it back over to the casters. Take it away, boys.
Honestly, love to see that, actually, his mom here to support him. And we actually asked him, like, off air, how supportive are they of you of this? And they said any interest you ever had as a kid, they always pushed for to help support him and really push him in that direction. So always great to see. I know my parents actually out there are doing the same.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine his mom being like, but you should play Lucio instead. But no, they let him play DPS and everything, so that's great.
Well, thank God for us, right?
Yeah.
For the USA. So we're going to be going to Lijiang Tower. Yeah, for us, because we can look better about our decisions. So yeah, Lijiang Tower. I'm hoping to see maybe some Torbjorn here. Maybe a little bit of fun here for a US of A, but I feel like they're really trying to put their foot down and show everyone what they've got.
Actually, if this Bastion thing is real and they really want to keep pushing it, Bastion did used to actually be a legitimate strategy on Lijiang Tower. No, that's Nepal. Wow. Wow.
It could be. Who knows?
Okay, no, I'm gonna go all the way back. Siegel did play Bastion on Lijiang Tower once, Stir. I remember it.
I feel like he's played everything on Lijiang Tower at least once in his life. But yeah, we'll be going to map in a few seconds here. 4-0 is in the sights for the USA. Do you think they're going to do it? Do you think they're going to be able to pull this one off?
I mean, they're looking so strong right now that I don't know about 3-0, but I'd love for them to prove me right. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of bias I can't hide. I want Team USA to do well, but I also want Canada to do well. But 3-0, you know, 3-0.
It's kind of funny because I feel like any team I ever see play that's not South Korea, I want to see them do well. So we have more people that could potentially beat them if they get through further into the tournament. But here we go, Lijiang Tower.
How could he have mistaken it for Nepal? I mean, it's raining, it's not snowing.
It happens. Okay, it's been a long day. A long day for us. But Canada going to be on the blue side here, and USA going to be on the red. And it looks like we're going to see some Fair Mercy v Fair Mercy. And now XQC is the one playing the support for his team, and Agility's going to be running the tank.
Yeah, I mean, you could see them experimenting within roles between matches. That's something we're going to have to work out. Joe Meister doesn't even get to know what life is before he comes out here. He's still thinking it's Nepal. He didn't get to see the map.
And Jake, you see just doing a fellow hello to Mangachu in the air. Swungchu's able to actually do some decent damage here, but Adam again, he's actually actually it's not even Adam playing the Mercy. They went around a Mercy Luso here instead, and Raucus has initially gone down as the Jules is able to just jump directly onto him, and Mangachu just gonna connect 2. Now 3 direct rockets. Factor Fiction just gonna stay alive with the help of his shield here, and that Mega Health Pack off to the side, which I believe his teammate actually picked up. But either way, at least force Mangachu back, and with a sliver of HP left, he's just barely gonna survive. Or will he? He's just playing games with Mangachu, he's just trying to back away.
And I'm actually surprised at Mangachu not hitting that quite easy air shot there on Winston. Though, I mean, I can't talk too much. He was able to come out on top on that Farah battle. He's going to be able to come back out here in a second with point control. Looks like they actually have a chance here. Team Canada taking the first point. Raucus with a little bit more ultimate there on that Mercy. So actually, no, they just caught up near immediately. The numbers evened out. Never mind, that's how quickly Mercy builds that ultimate that resurrects everybody.
Well, to be fair, when Surefour is doing the damage like he's doing here and how accurate this man is, you always have a ton of healing to do in this one. And Mangachu so far able to connect onto Jake. XQC now with their res available, Raucus is able to have it up too. It's going to be a really long fight here, Stir. So we're going to see finally USA pushing back in. And even the Concussive Blast going to knock off at least one person. As Rolf now playing the Zarya for his team gets himself a kill. But the res hasn't come in from either team.
Yeah, that was odd from both teams, but here come in the Resurrects. This is when the actual fight starts, and it looks like Canada's going to have a better fight here with the Graviton and with Joe Meister popping the sound barrier. They're going to have a little bit of advantage, though the kills still go down for both teams. I don't know how they didn't completely capitalize on that situation.
It was a good ultimate, a good barrage out of Jake actually from the window just to zone them away from that Graviton surge. They got hit by Rolf, but eventually, after 64% has been built up for Canada, US is going to turn this one around. Let's see if they can go for some aggression here, maybe hold on to this position. And we've seen how hard it is to get out of these choke points. Luckily, on Night Guard in here, you have the opportunity to come in from a different direction. Sorry, Night Market. Come in from a lot of different directions here, so you don't get funneled into one tight area.
Yeah, USA doesn't have any really good ults to keep them in here. You'd be nice to have that Farah ultimate, but here comes in a High Noon from the side. D.Va, of course, in his face, and that's why you don't use that ultimate.
Kumat the Magician, the Houdini, popping out of nowhere right in his face to just eliminate him. With the help, I believe it was of Raucus, is going to look to push forward yet again here. 28% now built up here for the USA on the red side. And that Zarya is going to be a major pest for Kumat to deal with, so he's going to have to back away as Rolf's looking to push forward. 50 energy, 60 now for this man. He's going to be doing a lot of damage here, but again, Jake with the Mirage. He gets Joe Meister now down. That does give him the man advantage. It does force the rest of Canada back.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to wait even longer to re-push in. They're evening out these numbers. 64% was a great first hold, but oh, if he can take down that Mercy, delayed even longer.
Yeah, that's not good, and Jake's actually going to eat quite a few rockets himself here, but he's still toying with Mangachu.
He's still got a Mercy, so he's fine.
Yeah, he is. And Raucus is going to have the res too. XQC going to have his as well. The point's actually being contested. Not sure who that's directly on point here, but it's only halfway. He's been forced back.
Yeah, unfortunate that so many people had to turn around for one Tracer because this doorway is completely uncontested now. The Winston a little bit alone, though they're not going to focus on him. Try and get out here and kill some of the squishier DPS. Looks like a Resurrection actually did already go down, and there is a grab underway. So many ultimates being thrown all over the map.
Yeah, well, the grab came in, but it looks like the follow-up just wasn't there. XQC going to get the res on the Rolf. That's going to be a self-destruct coming directly down into the courtyard, which Rolf's going to eat, get extra energy for himself to work with here. Now, Surefour on the point, trying to trade positioning. That sound barrier being used out of Adams, only going to catch on to Jake, but they need to contest a point here. They actually give this one up for free as they hit 89% on the board. Surefour's looking to close it down with Sinatra and the Tracer will be Tracer. This team is still trying to contest one with those two, now 3 kills coming through. They sure as hell can turn this one around. 75% now here for Canada. They don't have the res in sight at all, and Surefour's forced to back away.
I don't know if he should have backed away. Maybe you just die there. Yeah, because he's just delaying when the next push is going to be there. Was near dead anyway. They have to start contesting immediately now, though. I mean, I guess he did have to stay alive. It's just a dire situation here where they got to the point really quickly. Another air battle happening between Jake and Mangachu. He's opts to go for the easy damage on the targets on the ground. Going outside the window to try and finally find him. Miss a shot? Miss? Yeah, you pretend to hit him with that rocket. What an air shot.
First try, nailed it. In the meantime, though, we're seeing Canada just lose out on too many people. Agility is trying to use that Prime Rage to get back towards point, which he does, get the knockoff on a cool mat, but he's all by himself. And as you know how this game goes, it's in a game of numbers. He has no one else there to back him up with. Eventually, USA will close out this first point. Are they going to do it? Are they going to pull off the ultimate sweep here of a 4-0, but even a 3-0 on the Zhang Tower?
I don't know. That really did look strong from Canada for a while there until it slowly just one player loss at a time ate away almost the entire duration of the control point.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a pause coming in here as we do move into Observatory, into the next section here on the Zhang Tower.
Wow, a lever.
Hey, he'll be coming back. It'll be all good here in just a few seconds. But yeah, Canada, I mean, I'm curious if we're actually seeing them toy around with a couple of different things, of a couple different, positions we can run people, or is this them just kind of, we don't want to show, how well or how good of a team we actually are at the moment?
I think they are still experimenting. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is a show match. It is for a little bit of fun. Teams haven't had the time to practice yet because we've tried to keep them secret, so they haven't been scrimming as much as they should. And then again, scrimming other national teams is a little bit weird in North America because most of the world is somewhere else, and you have the latency issue after that. I know Team USA, for example, can't practice against the national Brazil team because we're in the same group, and that's one of the few options that we'd have. So finding the time to practice is a challenge, and I would consider this match here just to be practice for both of the teams to feel comfortable in what they want to play.
I mean, to be fair, it's a big commitment out of all the players here for the Overwatch World Cup, because not only are they still playing with their own teams and are still participating in tournaments and contenders, they have to add on scrim time on top of that to play with their national teams. So it's a lot of pressure. But when we asked actually the people when we were interviewing them before we did the official selection, we asked, how many hours can you guys commit a week, or how many hours can you commit a day? And almost every single player was like, yeah, I can 24/7. Like, I can play every day as long as we need to, because they really want to win and they really want to be the best.
Yeah, so it's just finding when other people are willing to play all day, every day, because it's a little bit trickier. I really do look forward to seeing Canada pull their stuff together a little bit more. I like seeing XQC on support a bit here. I mean, it's really tricky. It's a toss-up to say what you're giving up, because I think you're either giving up Agilities as a great DPS player, and if he's going to play support, you're giving that up. And XQC is most familiar with all the tank roles and all of that, so you're giving up a tank spot. Either way, you have to give up something, and you have to determine what your team needs more.
It kind of confuses me, actually, that they're trialing different positions like that, because you have, Rolf, who plays for Cloud9, plays the flex support. You got Joe Meister, who's trialing for FaZe Clan. Like, you have two supports in your team who play supports in a professional sense. Why not stick them around to playing supports, right?
That is another really great question there. There we have the awesome crowd again. So awesome to always see Overwatch live with an audience. People getting excited for the game. Fantastic.
Ooh.
People lounging out. There's Doa.
All right, well, that was Monte Cristo. We all know him.
I know. You saw earlier, I called Kai Grego, and no one gets me.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, before we do get back in the game here, can we hear you one more time as you root on the USA trying to 4-0 Canada here to represent you guys here in LA? All right. I actually kind of want to see the 4-0. Because you know how hard we're going to be on them, you, me, and Kai, if they don't pull this 4-0 off after Sinatra talked.
I mean, win or lose, I think the statement has already been made that Team USA beat Canada pretty badly. I mean, going into this, I was a little bit worried, because what if we do this big show match in LA and Canada wins? And
we're in the US, in LA.
And both of us repping USA, we'd just be sad, the whole cast.
No, it'd be great, because after the first two matches happened, you'd see these USA shirts turn into a Canada shirt. Be like, yeah, Canada, woo!
Oh my
God,
got this. I was with them the whole time.
Yeah. All right, well, so looking at actually the group, we talked about earlier on, the groups that come into the Overwatch World Cup and how there'll be 4 qualifiers around the world to get the 2 teams that come through every single time. We have USA joining Chinese Taipei, Brazil, and New Zealand. So you talked about Brazil a little bit. Chinese Taipei as well being a very, very strong team, but looking at who they could potentially play, right? So let's kind of theory craft here. Up against the UK, United Kingdom, or Germany, I feel like are the 2 top teams from Group H. I'm not sure who we'd rather play, because we don't know who even on those rosters just yet.
I don't know, but right now I'd like to play Team Canada, the national Canada team. So we can get into that. We did lose a player a second ago. We are 1 up for USA right now, so we're getting back into that. And I don't know. Again, like I said, I think every team now has the potential to be surprisingly powerful, where you can make these all-star teams from the best people in your region and not really know quite what that means, you know?
Well, here we go, back on Lijiang Tower. We'll find out in the next few months how every region is going to be playing, and hopefully very soon the rosters for every region so we can start theory crafting who's going to be making it through groups. We're going to see double Sombra, Roll for Canada, and Rockets for USA. We're going to be seeing Genjis as well, Jake against Agilities here. So going back to, I guess, a more standard role here for Canada, going back to the roles that they've known.
I actually love seeing this right now. It's been too long for Sombra to not exist in this game, to finally be able to see her be played, and D.Va has been such a threat. When you hack a D.Va, her game station turns off. She can't play her games anymore. Like, everything stops for D.Va. She can't fly, she can't defense matrix. She just becomes a giant hitbox for the rest of your team. And it looks like Team USA able to get the first capture here quite dominantly. Rolf already has that EMP, though both Sombras build it so quickly they're going to be even here on that. You're going to have to watch for when an EMP goes off, who's going to go after the Zaryas immediately, but there's a Graviton already.
Yeah, this point very hard to retake here, and if you have those grabs be built up as quickly as Sinatra can do, it's able to lock them out, and they lose one man, but they pick up a clean team kill here. Well done by USA. And one thing we have to point out is, well, when you're aggressive with a Sombra against another Sombra like this, you hack the health packs, and you can't counter the health packs unless you want to use your ultimate.
Yeah.
So it limits like your health pack control, which if you're playing Tracer, if you're playing Genji, that's what you need to survive.
It's always definitely a rush to get the important health packs that you want for your team to make sure the other Sombra doesn't get it. EMP comes out there. Mangachu loses half of his health from the EMP. Zarya, of course, having half of her health as shield. She goes down quite easily, and they're able to push back this advance here from Canada. Once again, already looking at quite a large percentage. The point almost captured, but they come back right in the end to stop Shore4 from getting that sneaky capture.
We talked about hacking a D.Va. I feel like hacking Tracer is one of the most frustrating things if you're on the receiving end of that, because you just cannot blink away, and that's where all your survivability is going to be coming from. Pair that with your recall. The Shore4's going to be back on point. Sinatra's going to be the first man down, and you can see Adam just not really going to have a chance to survive here, but Jake with 7 HP is going to fall to Rolf, and it looks like finally Canada, with the use of the Sound Barrier and the EMP, going to finally make their way through into this point and finally turn it around about 80% for USA.
Yeah, they're going to be able to stall here. Sombra on the point stalling is always something quite difficult to deal with as well, because she can just go invisible, completely stop everything, but they're able to clean up everybody at the end and reset, get some ground on those hacked health kits that they want so that they can take advantage of more of the map control. And it looks like probably going to be looking for a pulse bomb here in a second from Shore4.
And if that doesn't work, or if it does work, you still have Agilities with the blade ready to go, which is going to completely shut them down. Though Jake actually picks up the kill in a row, so a good counter to Sombra, playing McCree, so she can't get away from you as long as you hit that flashbang. Then you have the 2-tap into the head to pick up those kills. So Jake just going to be backing away here. The EMP has gone off here to Raucus, but the follow-up, I'm not sure if it's just there yet, but somehow
man.
Jake just playing fan of the hammer game, not even left-click even from long range. This is old-school McCree,
Oh my
still
God.
able to pick up another kill into Agilities. This man is just right-clicking the entire time. Did he unbind his left-click?
This is comedy. Jeez, he was also so out of position that I was so scared for him. He was completely surrounded by Canada, and then out of nowhere, his team shows up, supports him, and he just starts spraying bullets everywhere.
He's still going against Showmeister too. Jake is just going off in this game. And there we go, the 2-0 here for Lijiang Tower. Team USA could pull off this entire show match without dropping a map.
United States national team winning with style. The Bastion earlier, the right click, okay, I'm not gonna call right click style. I'm gonna have to come down from that, but man, still winning nonetheless.
Well, again, we're seeing Agility switch to support, even though Rolf was running the Sombra just in the last map. Even potential Reinhardt out of Agility, so not sure where they're going with this route, but in the meantime, we're gonna be seeing Jake, it looks like on Junkrat. Sinatra gonna be on McCree again. It's running solo support. Well, solo support, I say that. We obviously have a Sombra, so the health packs do help out quite a bit to act as a kind of support.
Yeah, been quite popular to run Sombra and only one other support. Otherwise, it's a little bit harder to fit her on a team. And quite daring here is Jake trying to play some Junkrat. On this map in particular, where Pharah is so popular and they're going to be running into, it's always quite difficult for Junkrat to deal with a Pharah unless you hit some really nice shots. The Pharah doesn't have to work quite as hard for it. Oh!
Shore4 just got Raucus when he teleported back to his own beam. He gets the kill with that one, and they just completely slaughter the US of A, and that's going to be Canada capturing the point.
Man, to even want to shoot at that teleporter for like almost no reason, but it's timed perfectly, that was awesome to see.
Feels good, man. Feels good indeed, and Canada seem to have much better control here, though. Jake has switched off the Junkrat, going over to Tracer.
Did they forget to cap the point? That seemed like a
little
long
bit,
point
yeah.
cap. They might have neglected it for a moment, or only one person was on it. I'm not quite sure. Team USA is there on the point for a second trying to cap it. I think it was probably one of the tracers from the side. Jake giving up on the Junkrat. Of course, going into a Pharah makes that so difficult. But Short Four is not really even getting shot up here in the air. They have the hit scan to deal with him, but he's completely uncontested. There's the shots we're looking for. Make him fly back down to the ground.
Yeah, 30 HP, but you can still see, though, USA really scared to push across this point because there's going to be a potential boop that can custom blast, or even, you know, Joe Meister able to use the Lucio just to knock them off this position. Even Jake now, look at this. He switched over to Lucio. He's switching to quite a few different heroes, allowing Rockets to play the Pharah. Definitely having some good times here, and this is going to do absolutely nothing. Ideally should do absolutely nothing, but somehow, how does he catch XQC? That's going to be the boom coming in to knock Mangachu away to allow him to pick up a kill. Great teamwork there, and that's still going to be a lot of kills for Canada, but I think USA should be able to pull this one off. No, XQC has res, so if he can get back here in time, it's going to be very difficult for the US to do this.
I don't know, he's going to have to walk here solo, and of course, once you kill the other team's Mercy, that's free reign. Adam popped the Resurrection. You don't have to worry about the other team getting res quite yet. He's going to show up late, but I don't know, maybe this will work in their favor. As they die on the point, as they stall it, the Resurrection is actually a real threat now.
Almost 60% and counting here for Canada as they continue to push into this one. XQC just waiting off the side most likely as the kills do come through. Surfer's going down. There's the res coming in for XQC to keep everyone alive here. And the right clicks looks like out of Sinatra not going to be happening because he's not Jake. But either way, Rockets is still able to get these kills here. He gets the initial, gets the barrage off, directly in the face of XQC, but Mangachu comes in big. He saves his Mercy's life on 1 HP, and they're still holding the point. 85% built up. That's like another 20 in the bank for them.
Doesn't pop the ult, doesn't want to try and stall that long. Pretty unlikely that he'd be able to get back inside his mech anyway.
Well, we talk about divas, right? We talk about how impactful defense matrix can be, completely mitigating ultimates, mitigating any damage that can come your way, and he saves his Mercy's life and allows him to hold on this point a little bit longer. But USA actually able to turn this one around, it seems. So they're able to, wow, Jake actually going down to Surefour here, hitting these shots. The self-destruct coming into the little room, just not going to connect on anyone, unfortunately.
Any fight here could turn into the last fight, as Canada has 92% on the point. It's not much more to go. Sinatra with another high noon, unable to get it. Defense matrix right in his face. No little sneaky kills from the side corner. Mangachu gonna pop out a mech there. That kill's going down, and it looks like that's gonna be a solid hold from USA here. A couple of ultimates still in the bank. We're looking at Jake, who for some reason is on Lucio. Not sure. We're not questioning the picks this game. He's got that beat to drop, so as they push in, they're gonna have that defense. Almost at the Resurrection. Pretty much from both characters on both teams now.
And we're going to see US, though, group up here, try to force them over this bridgeway, which can allow Jake to make big plays. But you can see Canada responding, actually, just split up 3 and 3, sending 3 across the bridge, 3 across the other side with the white hulls. And the boop's going to be coming in. Mangachu going to get knocked off. Jake gets the kill on the board.
That was like a horror movie. You know when the villain just slowly walks forward and you know something bad's gonna happen, but you can't do anything about it. Lucio comes up and gives you the boop. And things are looking quite dangerous now. Huge ult stock for both teams.
And we're 20% away here from the US pulling off a complete sweep against Canada here in the show match. This is going to be big. This is going to be easy kills here. Surefour, you're not going to have a chance to survive that one. It gets a little bit too high in the air. And the percent's still ticking, 85%. So this is going to force either the res out of XQC, or they're going to have to come in and stagger a little bit slowly here. Actually, I want to speak of that rope you have on the Tracer back towards the side. Give it a force the actual overtime, if anything. And him and Mangachu just chilling on the point here.
Yeah, chilling on the point, forcing people to come over here, almost building ultimates. You have that pulse bomb, but you don't really want to try and throw to the Diva or Winston. Winston in his ult, he has too much health. It's not even going to matter, but that window is destroyed.
That window got messed up real good here, but in the meantime, you can still see Sinatra, though. Oh, popping out the high noon. Rope wants it, but he can't get it. And the kills to come through. And the overtime's going to be taken away, but XQC is looking for some sort of res behind you, Sinatra. You can see the Mercy. You can see him. He's being shot. The res is going to come in, but he has no way of getting out. He's going to fall for this one. He only got 1 res on the Mangachu. He's immediately going to be desuited. And the US are going to pull off a 4-0 sweep here against Canada.
Oh, man. The final match is always the one that leaves the lasting impression.
It does.
And that's not a good impression to leave.
You got even the US switching things up, putting a couple different heroes in a couple different people's hands. But I feel like they can be very happy and confident with how that one turned out for them. And it makes me confident in our pick, sir. I feel like we did a good job.
Man, you keep saying me.
Not we.
No, not even we. It's them now. We let our kids out of the roost, and now they have to go win the World Cup for us. They have to stand a chance up against France, who's going to be a very difficult opponent to beat for any team. Korea, of course, another huge one that everybody's watching out for. In our own group, Chinese Taipei and Brazil could really come out with strong teams. Yeah. And I'm just looking forward to the the Overwatch World Cup, as it unfolds in the next couple of months, is going to be huge. It's really cool to have your own national teams competing.
Last year you got to play on the USA national Overwatch team, and now you're doing the committee for it. I got to work with the Overwatch World Cup last year doing some interviews, and it was a great sight seeing everyone really hyped up about it. But I honestly cannot wait till this kicks off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in a moment here we're going to be throwing down to the stage, seeing what Golden Boy has to say with Team USA. Again, being continually dominant. I guess Canada doesn't want to speak up and talk about what just happened to them.
I mean, we should let them talk, right? We should give them a chance. Give them a platform to discuss what went on within their team and maybe how their practices coming into this, or maybe, you know, how the team was kind of formed for them. Hopefully we can hear some stuff like that. But, you know, Jake, I think he's crowned the captain now of the USA.
Someone has to be the captain, and no one wanted to. Everyone's like, Jake has been so loud in all the comms and all the call-outs, and he's, you know, a good foot forward for the team that everyone listens to. That, you know, just accept it, Jake. You're the captain.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here. Stir and myself, we had such a great time actually bringing you this show match, and we hope to see you all watching the Overwatch World Cup coming up in just a few weeks' time. Let's head now down to the stage. Let's have Golden Boy talk to the teams.
Thank you so much, guys. Let's give a shout out to our amazing commentators, Jason Kaplan and Stir, please. Thank you so much for the lulls and the entertainment. All right, down here with Jake. Jake, dominating performance. You guys look fantastic. You guys seem to be getting along, which is always a fantastic thing. Question is, you know, are you guys going to be able to ride this, you know, teamwork momentum into the World Cup?
I mean, you know, on that big stage in the World Cup, anything can happen. You know, any of these teams have the potential to really, you know, bring it out and show you something you've never seen before. So we're really just looking forward to, you know, continuing to practice, continuing to gel, just to bring the best performance we can for the United States of America.
Nice. That was, what an answer. What an answer, this guy right here. Okay, it's like you've done this before. So now, got to ask you, though, any teams in particular going into the Overwatch World Cup that you are, you know, excited to play against, but also at the same time concerned to play against?
I think Team France is shaping up to just be rogue, basically. So, you know, playing against a team that's already a professional team that already practices together is going to be, you know, unique, I guess. I don't think there's many teams like that in the World Cup, so I think they're definitely someone I'm keeping my eye on. But then, of course, you know, South Korea are routinely dominant, and they are, you know, definitely looking to win this whole thing. So we're just going to do our best to take it away.
And finally, what is it about this group here that's going to put you guys over the edge? You know, you mentioned France, you mentioned South Korea, and, you know, you guys want to take this one, go all the way. I know North America, United States, excuse me, didn't have the best run last year. So I guess my question to you is, what's the game plan, and how do you guys feel like you're going to mesh as a team going into this?
I mean, I think we were lucky enough to have a team selected that has, you know, a powerful mix of really strong mechanical ability, but then, you know, also a key understanding of who's the playmaker, you know, how to empower one another, because that's ultimately what Overwatch is all about, is making plays with your team, you know, elevating each other so that you can stand on each other's shoulders and take the championship. So we're really lucky to have, you know, such a well-rounded team that I think is going to do really well.
All right, man. Well, Jake, thank you so much for your time, my man. Much love, much appreciated. Guys, give it up for Jake and the rest of Team USA. Your U.S. national Overwatch team at the Overwatch World Cup. Absolutely incredible. And it's been a great day of competition. We started off with Street Fighter, then we had some Tekken 7, then some Injustice 2. And what better way than to close it out with some Overwatch live from E3. And as the sun sets here in LA, we have to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this week. We thank you so much for coming out, being excellent sports in the heat. It was awesome. Thank you, guys. I'm Golden Boy. Once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is the Twitch Esports Arena presented by T-Mobile, and we'll see you next time.